Welcome into HQ Spotlight, where we are laying the foundation for Super Bowl 60. Mike Cunio alongside Haley Sutton, 9 days away from the big game. Feels like forever, but we're going to leave no stone unturned breaking down the Patriots and the Seahawks.
9 days for the non-math folks out there. Just under 2 weeks, just over a week, depending on which way you go. It means that we are going to hit every single angle of Super Bowl 60, as you mentioned. And no better way to set the tone, Mike, than going bold. So let's do so. We know the script going into this big game. You got head coaches and quarterbacks all relatively new to their organization. This one, of course, a rematch of Super Bowl 49. Malcolm Butler, I'm sure you have been a very busy man this week talking about that game-sealing interception back in 2014. So with the stage set, let's get to some bold predictions. Y'all know we love a bold prediction here on HQ Spotlight. So we're going to go Super Bowl style here with our John Breech and Tyler Sullivan, who are going to be in Santa Clara for the big game in 9 days, as Cunio just told us there. So let's get to some bold predictions, fellas, starting with the Patriots. We know Drake Maye has been the story, just a stellar season in year two. Not so much in the postseason. He's definitely cooled off a bit there. John, what's your prediction when it comes to Drake Maye?
Haley, my prediction, and Patriots fans are not going to like this, is that Drake Maye is going to throw multiple interceptions in this game. So we are going to see him throw at least 2 picks. Drake Maye is someone who is very careful with the ball. He makes smart decisions. He was the most accurate quarterback in the NFL this year. He has only thrown multiple interceptions in 2 games in his entire career. So that is why this is bold. So why is this going to happen here? Well, first, the Seahawks always make you play from behind. They have had a double-digit lead in 11 of their past 14 games. Those 3 games where they didn't have a double-digit lead, 2 of them were against the Rams. So if you take the Rams out, it's 11 of 12. Well, if you're behind by double digits, what did your offense start doing? You start throwing the ball. So that would force Drake Maye into a situation where he is throwing passes. And when that has happened in his career, the Patriots have been surprisingly bad. There have been 11 games where Drake Maye has thrown 33 passes or more in his career. He is 3-8, and he's thrown an interception in almost every single one of those games. And I mentioned those 2 games where he's thrown multiple interceptions. Both came in games where he attempted at least 33 passes. So you get Drake Maye throwing the ball, he tends to make mistakes. Drake Maye is going to be under a lot of pressure, sacked 5 times in every playoff game. I see that happening again in the Super Bowl. And finally, Mike McDonald, 6-0 all-time against first and second-year quarterbacks. Drake Maye, of course, the second-year quarterback. It is going to be a long day for Mr. Maye.
I feel like I'm supposed to disagree with you, Breech, just because I'm from New England and I should defend Drake Maye. But at the same time, I kind of understand where you're coming from. The Seattle Seahawks can send 4 and really still apply the most amount of pressure, or at least one of the most pressured rate teams in the entire NFL. With an offensive line that's a little shaky like New England's, I could see that coming to fruition, which is why I go to my prediction. I think that this Patriots team is scoring 17 or fewer points in this Super Bowl. Currently, right now, their team total is sitting around 20.5. And you would say, okay, well, this Patriots team, they were averaging around 28 points per game during the regular season. The underrated story is that the offense has kind of come to a screeching halt for the reasons that you were saying, Breech. The offensive line hasn't played particularly great. Drake Maye has been turning the ball over, been dealing with a lot of pressure. And I think that we're going to see something similar in this Super Bowl. Now, we should also point out, Drake Maye may or may not be dealing with a right shoulder injury, was not at practice today. Mike Vrabel said in his press conference that he's dealing with that shoulder on top of an illness. So something to monitor there. Is this quarterback fully healthy? I still believe that he'll play in the Super Bowl, but is he 100%? And for the Patriots, again, the 18 points per game that they are averaging this postseason, that is the lowest a team is averaging entering a Super Bowl since the 1979 Rams. I don't even know if the forward pass was invented at that point yet. So against this #1 ranked scoring defense in the Seattle Seahawks, I think it could end up being a long day for New England.
Well, we kind of saw the blueprint because the Broncos defense right up there with Seattle's defense too. So you kind of saw there they were only able to score 10 points there, and we know Seattle knows how to take the ball away as well. So Tyler, if we stay with Seattle for a minute, you think that the Patriots offense is going to struggle. Does that mean that the Seattle offense is going to be a little busy too? What bold prediction do you have for Seattle?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm reverse jinxing the Patriots or just being honest. I don't know which way I'm going, but I think the Seattle team drops 30 in this Super Bowl. I think that we could be looking at a potential blowout here. And you might not think that that's bold, right? Because you'd say, okay, well, Seattle's averaging around 35 plus points per game this postseason, blowing out the 49ers, scoring 30 plus against the Los Angeles Rams. But you look at this Patriots defense, they're the reason why New England is in this position to play for a Super Bowl. And they have been absolutely sensational. 8.7 points per game, points allowed entering this Super Bowl over the course of the postseason. That is the best since the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, who is widely looked at as one of the best defenses of all time. You pair that with Sam Darnold, who has a tremendously poor record against the New England Patriots. He is 0-4 in his career. He has 1 total touchdown and 11 turnovers. You put all that together and say, boy, I wonder if that magic could be rekindled in this Super Bowl. But I think you have to piece those things away from one another. This is a much different Sam Darnold than what we've seen over those games, which was with the New York Jets and one game with the Carolina Panthers. He is a wildly different quarterback now, so I'm not worried about that past history. And the 8.7 points per game allowed this postseason, you have to look at those games individually. In that game against the Los Angeles Chargers, they were down their starting tackles. In that game against the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud was basically turned himself into a puddle and also did not have Nico Collins. In the AFC Championship game, we know the story. It was Jarrett Stidham, not Bo Nix. They should be holding teams under 10 points per game over those types of teams. The Seattle team is much different offensively.
Yeah, it's simple, right? Sam Darnold, take care of the football. Look how you looked in that Rams game last week, and you've got a good chance. But I think another part of that as well is the field position that they have been enjoying in Seattle. Much improved thanks to the addition of Rashid Shaheed at the trade deadline. John, you've got a bold prediction involving a punt return and Shaheed.
Haley, look, if I'm doing bold predictions, I'm always going to have a special teams prediction. And the special teams prediction here is that we see the Super Bowl record for longest punt return get broken. If there's one time when punt returns are boring, it's the Super Bowl. We have played 59 Super Bowls. There have only been 2 returns in all of Super Bowl history of more than 50 yards. There are never any long ones. The record was set a couple years ago by Kadarius Toney while he was playing for the Chiefs. That is a 65-yarder. There has never been a punt return for a touchdown in Super Bowl history. Well, those two things might change in this game because we have 2 of the most electrifying punt returners on the field. The Patriots have Marcus Jones, who had 2 punt return touchdowns during the regular season. He averaged 17.3 yards per return, which was tied for the NFL lead during the regular season. Haley, you mentioned Shaheed. He came in. The Seahawks made that trade. He did pretty well at receiver. He was a great returner for them. He probably won that Rams game in Week 16. He really got their comeback jump-started with a punt return touchdown when the Seahawks were trailing 30-14. He had a kick return touchdown against the 49ers in the playoff game. He had another kick return touchdown against the Falcons during the regular season. And when you look at the NFL overall, there were only 15 punt return touchdowns in the NFL during the regular season. Marcus Jones, Rashid Shaheed combined for 3 of those. So I think we're going to see the punt return yardage broken and possibly see a punt return touchdown for the first time in Super Bowl history.
I mean, if Shaheed's going to do all that, then it plays nicely into my next prediction is that Rashid wins Super Bowl MVP at 28-1. That should be bold, right? And I think he can do it in a couple of different ways. Breech, exactly what you were saying. He's a factor in the kick return and punt return game. You go back to that San Francisco 49ers playoff win. It was 7-0 before we could blink. He took the kickoff pretty much 90-plus yards for a touchdown, putting the Seahawks up 7-0. He's able to make an impact in that regard, but then going to the NFC Championship, he had a 50-plus yard catch to set up the opening drive touchdown for Seattle, and that's where I want to kind of look at there, because Shaheed obviously is going to make plays on the special teams in the return game, but where he could win Super Bowl MVP is as a receiver. Now, he doesn't get a lot of looks, but when he does get a lot of looks, it's deep. It's impactful chunk plays, and the Patriots, sneaky, have been a little leaky in terms of chunk plays. They actually lead the NFL in 25-plus plays on offense over the regular season and playoffs, but they also lead the league in those types of plays, 25-plus plays allowed in the regular season and postseason on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that this defense is a little shaky with the deep ball, and if Christian Gonzalez, their all-pro stud cornerback, is being assigned to Jackson Smith-Njigba, I think that there's a possibility that Sam Darnold starts looking Shaheed's way a little bit more, and those chunk plays really do tilt the game.
See, I used to feel special with my Dallas Cowboys guys because I used to think that we had the secret weapon, right? Like we had Kevontae Turpin and no one else did, and we had Brandon Aubrey and no one else did. And now the rest of the league is clearly catching up. So Cowboys have some work to do if we're going to get to the Super Bowl. John, let's wrap this up with your final bold prediction here. Do you agree with Tyler on MVP, or are you going even bolder?
Well, I do not agree, but this is not as bold. I mean, Tyler went as bold as possible at 28-1. I think I'm only going 9-1 here, and that is Kenneth Walker winning the MVP of this game. I mean, Tyler and I have kind of outlined that we clearly like the Seahawks here. He's saying the Seahawks are going to score at least 30 points. And one reason I like Kenneth Walker, and by the way, we have not seen a running back win Super Bowl MVP since 1997, so that's where the boldness comes in. It hasn't happened this century. So if the Seahawks, as I said earlier, they've got a double-digit lead in 11 of their past 14 games. If they get a double-digit lead against the Patriots, I think they're going to run the ball, and run the ball. That is where Kenneth Walker comes in. I could see him running for 130, 140, 150 yards, and if he gets near those numbers, you have to like his chances for MVP. And let's not forget that Mike Vrabel is one of the smartest defensive minds in the NFL. He kind of goes that Belichick style where he's going to take something away from the Seahawks. I feel like he is going to do his best to have his defense contain Jackson Smith-Njigba. You do not want to let the Seahawks' best player beat you. That is JSN, who led the NFL in receiving. So if you're focused on stopping that, that's where those running lanes open up. That's where things open up with Kenneth Walker. And that's how he ends up taking home the MVP.
I like it. I love when history can happen. 1997, Breech. That's a great stat there. Fellas, appreciate the time. Enjoy hanging out together at the Super Bowl. I'm sure we'll be checking in with you quite a bit as we've got 9 days until the big game. One final look there at the specs going into the game. Of course, a rematch of Super Bowl 49 when the Patriots were able to win by 4 points. But truly, our experts lean in Seahawks here. Felt very Seahawky in that block.
No doubt about it. Patriots fans not exactly happy after watching that, I imagine. All right, coming up, how can the Patriots beat the Seahawks in Super Bowl 60? We're going to ask a man not only braved the elements in Denver, but became an internet sensation. Evan Washburn joins us next on Spotlight.